Make sure you hit subscribe before we get into this. It genuinely helps support the channel and keeps stories like this coming. I never imagined one honest conversation would unravel years of patience, sacrifice, and trying my best, but it did. I stood there in the silence of my apartment, struggling to process what had just unfolded. My name is Ethan. I'm 38 years old, and I've been married to Rachel for almost 12 years. 12 years of shared mornings, disagreements, laughter, compromise, tiny wins, and losses. I always believed that history alone could carry us through the storms. Turns out, I was wrong. Rachel changed slowly, so subtly at first that I brushed it off. She used to brighten every moment when I walked into a room. Her smile was powerful enough to warm me through the ugliest days. But for the past 3 years, that warmth faded into a distant memory. Our conversations became purely practical. Our touches felt rehearsed. Our laughter became something we performed, not something we shared. I convinced myself she was stressed, overwhelmed, maybe going through something she didn't know how to say out loud. I tried harder, cooked more, cleaned more, created space for her, hoping she'd notice. For a while, I fooled myself into believing it was enough. I reminded myself love doesn't always come with constant sparks, that stability mattered more than passion. But last Thursday, everything collapsed. Rachel barely spoke to me all evening. Her eyes were glued to her phone, fingers tapping the screen endlessly. When I tried to ask about our weekend plans, she subtly pulled away, saying she needed space. I had grown used to small dismissals, but this one felt different. This felt final. Later that night, after putting our son to sleep, I finally spoke up. I approached gently, vulnerable, but not desperate. Rachel, I feel like we're drifting. I feel like I'm invisible. She sighed faintly, barely glancing at me. Ethan, I don't think I can do this anymore. You should find someone else. Someone who makes you happy. I went silent. My throat tightened. My mind ran through 12 years in a flash. Then I said something she didn't see coming. I gave the slightest smile and whispered, "Already did." Her eyes shot wide open. Shock, confusion, fear. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice trembling. I looked her straight in the eyes, calm, collected. "I mean, I've already detached emotionally. I've already built a life where I'm no longer chasing what's gone. I realize love isn't about fighting to keep someone who already checked out." She stared at me, stunned. 12 years, and she never realized the quiet man she ignored had already let go. I wasn't being cruel. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was simply free. I had tried quietly for years to fix us, planning small dates, trying to spark old memories, making jokes at dinner hoping she'd laugh again. But every attempt was ignored. Every effort met with indifference. So slowly, without even realizing it, I created a life outside her emotional orbit, a life she never thought I'd reach. When those words left my mouth, "Already did," something inside me shifted permanently, like a tide receding, revealing how empty things had been beneath the surface for years. And then reality slammed in. The life I had feared losing was never really lost. It was waiting for me to reclaim it. Rachel's face twisted between panic and disbelief. "Ethan, what do you mean you found someone else?" she demanded. I shrugged softly, steady. "That detail doesn't matter. What matters is that I stopped waiting for you to see me. I stopped hoping you'd return emotionally, and I allowed myself to truly live again." Her voice cracked, and for once her armor slipped. She wanted to respond, but nothing came out. She underestimated the quiet strength I had been building inside me all these years. I turned away, not angry, not bitter, just done. The apartment felt lighter now, not empty, just open, like a door had finally unlocked inside me. I heard her steps behind me, small, hesitant. "Ethan, wait, are you serious?" she whispered, her voice breaking. I didn't turn. There was nothing left to explain. I had made my choice. I walked toward the front door, and this time my steps felt intentional, calm, controlled. I opened it, feeling cool night air hit my face like a reset. I took a deep breath, like releasing years of silent suffocation, as if finally I could breathe again. Rachel stood behind me, arms crossed, eyes wide with disbelief. "Ethan, you can't just—" she tried to say, but her voice collapsed mid-sentence. I didn't respond. Words had lost their meaning years ago. I walked slowly to my car. Each step felt like reclaiming something sacred, myself. I sat down inside, grabbed the steering wheel, and thought about all the weekends I skipped, hobbies I dropped, friendships I drifted from, because I kept waiting for her emotionally. Waiting for someone who was emotionally gone is torture disguised as devotion. And that had been my reality. The moment I realized I already moved on wasn't loud or dramatic. It was gradual, born out of years of choosing myself quietly. I started running again, hanging out with friends, reading late nights, rebuilding pieces of my identity she never bothered to notice. Slowly, I became whole again without her. The look on her face when I said, "already did," meant more than any fight, any tear, any apology could ever express. It was the moment she finally realized she no longer had control over my peace. Suddenly, she spoke again from behind the door. "Ethan, who is it?" I let out a small, calm laugh, the kind that comes from someone who has already made peace with the ending. It doesn't matter. It was never about someone else. It was about me. I found myself again. Her expression twisted in confusion and anger, but no explanation could fix years of emotional absence. She created the distance. She set the rules. She just never expected me to finally stop playing the game. I started the engine. Her silhouette stood frozen in the doorway, a ghost of everything I was leaving behind. And for once, there was no guilt, no fear, no second guessing, just absolute clarity. As I drove through the quiet, rain-soaked streets, I thought about a future without heaviness, mornings without silence, evenings without resentment, nights where I didn't have to carry the weight of indifference. I pictured conversations that mattered again, laughter that was real, love that didn't demand self-sacrifice as proof. By the time I reached my friend's place, where I'd spend this first night of my new beginning, I felt a powerful, sharp peace inside me, not the peaceful comfort of belonging to someone, but the freeing peace of belonging to myself again. I walked away from years of neglect, emotional starvation, and silent hurt, and I walked towards something far more valuable, myself. Rachel might eventually understand. Maybe one day she'll feel the gravity of what happened, but that wasn't my concern anymore. I reclaimed the one thing she could never return to me, my life, unrestricted, unapologetic. That night, as I lay down in the quiet, I finally breathed deeply again. 12 years had ended, but I was alive again, and that realization was everything.